All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today. For Monday, May 24th, my name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And despite a little bit of a rough stretch on my Patreon page here this past week, we're still 2-0 in our last couple of Major League Baseball tier package picks on my Patreon page. We also won 5 out of our last 8 MLB tier package picks in that very same category. And the good news is this: we have another MLB tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 1,225 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that page is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. With that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some NBA playoff action. Some really good matchups here tonight. So let's start with the Heat taking on the Bucks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Milwaukee. The Bucks are up 1-0 in the series. Milwaukee's also the 4.5-point favorite in this one, totals 222. And if you like the Heat to tie this one up and knot it up at one game apiece, they're plus 160 for some money line cash. Now, Miami struggled offensively on the road here this season. They're in the bottom 5 in road scoring, and they averaged just 107 points per contest away from their home court. The Heat's also struggled in the rebounding department, which could be very problematic against a team like the Bucks. Miami's in the bottom 3 in the NBA in road offensive rebounding. They've certainly had their struggles shooting the long ball here this season as well. Miami's in the bottom 5 in shooting the 3 ball on the road. So might have a tough time negating the size of this Milwaukee team. If you can't get hot from beyond the arc, you're certainly going to have problems against Milwaukee. Now, Miami's dropped 4 out of their last 6 head-to-head meetings with the Bucks. And speaking of Milwaukee, they've played their best basketball this year at the Fiserv Forum. They're currently 27-10 straight up as the home team, and they lead the NBA in home scoring. The Bucks are averaging nearly 121 points a night on their home court, and they're led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, who scored 26 points in Game 1, and he averaged over 28 points a night in the regular season. Now, the Greek Freak also brought down 11 boards a game and averaged over 5 assists in the regular season as well. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton was the leading scorer in Game 1 of this series with 27. The forward also had 6 rebounds and 6 assists in that game. Now, in addition to their prolific scoring efforts, this Milwaukee club leads the NBA in offensive rebounding, and they also make a staggering 40% of their three-pointers at the Fiserv Forum. Now, total-wise, the Bucks saw 5 out of their last 8 ball games get over the line. They also went 22-15 to the over on their home court this year, 41-32 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Heat saw 7 out of their last 10 ball games get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks minus 4.5 and the over 222. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup, Blazers versus the Nuggets. 10 p.m. Eastern tip. The Portland Trail Blazers are up 1-0 in the series. That said, though, it's the Nuggets who are the 1.5-point favorite in this one. Totals 227. Now, we are looking at a Denver team who's really struggled to cover the number here recently. Now, in addition to losing 5 out of their last 9 ball games straight up, the Nuggets successfully covered the point spread just 3 times during that stretch. And even worse than that, Denver's failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Portland. And for some reason, it feels like Denver just sometimes has the tendency to kind of fizzle out late in games. They're in the bottom 10 in the league in fourth quarter scoring, bottom 10 in the league in third quarter points allowed at home. And speaking of home, Denver successfully covered the point spread in just 43% of their contests at the Ball Arena this year. They're taking on a red-hot Portland club who's gotten the W in 11 out of their last 13 ball games. Now, the Blazers currently lead the NBA in first quarter scoring, and they average nearly 118 points a night on the road. Dame Lillard scored 34 points in Game 1. That's typical playoff numbers for Dame, it feels like. He also had 13 big assists and shot 42% from beyond the arc in that game. Meanwhile, CJ McCollum had 21 points in his last game himself. 6 boards, 3 assists for CJ. Now, the scary part for Denver is, well, this Portland club has by far played their best basketball on the road this season. They've gone 23-14 straight up when traveling, and they successfully covered the number in 65% of those road games. Now, total-wise, Portland's gone 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. The Blazers have also gone 21-16 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are currently 23-14 to the over at the Ball Arena. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Portland Trail Blazers, plus 1.5, and the over 227. With that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Milwaukee minus 4.5 over 222. And I'm also going to lean toward the Portland Trail Blazers plus 1.5 and the over 227. And with that, now it's time for some YouTube shout-outs. Shout out to Ulysses Hayes, Compton Rob, Raiden YouTube, Jerry Pulaski, John Smith, SOP LFD Striker, and I always forget where you're from. I always want to say Egg Harbor, New Jersey, but I'm not sure. It's either Egg Harbor or Absecon or somewhere in that area. But anyway, SOP LFD Striker, shout out to you. Shout out to HEK, Ronald Orr, Shavoy Samuels, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Calvin Riley. All right, guys, and with that, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my Patreon website. If you guys do end up deciding to get a package here today, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up signing up for a package here today, you're going to get access to that content through the end of May. So it looks like, what is it, the 24th, you're going to get about a week's worth of content before Patreon ends up billing you again on the 1st. So once again, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Just want to say I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Man, I've been taking antihistamines and nasal decongestants and Flonase and all that stuff for a little bit over a week straight. Man, it's been rough this year, so appreciate you guys bearing with me through the sniffles here. But anyway, guys, most importantly, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.